Many bodies are likely to still be buried under collapsed buildings and in the mud that rose amid the shaking. And now, efforts to fly in supplies could be further complicated because a volcano, Mount Soputan, also on the island of Sulawesi, where the quake and tsunami struck, is erupting, spewing ash thousands of metres into the air. Well, Indonesia correspondent Anne Barker has been surveying some of the damage again today in Palu, particularly where homes have been swallowed by mud. Anne, what have you seen of this phenomenon of buildings disappearing into mud?
Well, Linda, it was just extraordinary. We went to a village and it was really only after we were there for some time that I realised this was not the tsunami that caused this massive river of mud that had come into Petobo, which is just outside Palu. There, as you go in, basically it looks like the whole village has been swallowed up in this mud sludge. You've got houses that are just literally up to the eaves of their roofs with mud. It's hard enough to imagine people surviving under normal rubble in a house that's collapsed, let alone in a situation like this. You look at this mud and you know that anyone that went down with that house couldn't possibly come out alive. So basically what happened at Petobo is a process they've called liquefaction, where the earthquake triggers something under the ground that either turns the hard earth below or even sends mud surging up, almost like a geyser, I imagine.
And so that's added to the extent of the disaster then, has it?
Well, absolutely. It's just clear that there are a lot of places the authorities haven't got to yet and still don't really know the extent of the missing, the dead and the homeless. We also went to another village not far from Petobo in the same district, Balaroa, which is even more extraordinary. This was like a sinkhole effect where an entire community of 1,700 people or 2,000 people has effectively been swallowed in a giant hole, again triggered by the earthquake and not the tsunami. And we spoke to a man there, Hari, who describes what he thinks happened.
The houses is going around and then falling down below and then sinking. The houses is sinking.
One of the residents in the disaster zone speaking to Anne Barker today, his name's Hari. And just quickly, what's the situation now for people who've been left homeless by this disaster? Are things getting any better?
Well, look, it's hard to see how they could, Linda. I mean, at Balaroa, you know, they're saying 2,000 people live there. They know that 600 to 700 have definitely died. 1,000 people are missing. Only about 200 or 300, they think, could have survived there. But that's another 200 or 300 that will be added to the 61,000, I think the figure was yesterday, of homeless people, not just in Palu, but in all the districts around and even Donggala further north. We're talking about a massive number of people. They're going to need shelter, water and food for months because not only have they lost their homes, they've lost all their possessions, they've probably lost any money they had, they probably no longer have a job. So these are people that kind of have to start again from scratch.
Our Indonesia correspondent, Anne Barker.
And wiped out large areas in the city of Palu, such as Balaroa and Petobo.
This is the neighborhood of Petobo in Palu, and you can see what happened was the neighborhood was on this level, was the ground level, and it was just kind of pulverized and thrust upward here, and you can see kind of the vehicles tossed about, buildings gone, shredded homewares, fences, bed springs. I mean, it's just all kind of been churned and thrust upward here.
Soon, the government will end the formal search for human remains. It's clear that there's no one left to save. But people here wait and watch, hoping at least for a chance to bury their dead.
Boom! Tadi gue bilang boom 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 boom. Jadi dia kayak apa namanya tsunami darat. Jam masa ini kurang lebih 80% warga Perumnas meninggal.